on the Implicit Show. We're going to talk about why people will say one thing, but then they do another. What's that all about? How do we take action? Tapping into the true potential of the human spirit. This is Humanity Empowered. This is the Implicit Show. Hello, welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Implicit Show. My name is Brendan Dubé. I'm your host today, and I'll tell you, I'm glad this episode's working today, because yesterday I had some serious technical difficulties, and it was the first time in like 66 episodes in a row where I had any kind of difficulties and I couldn't do the show. And well, that's what happened to me yesterday. But you know what? Today we're bringing back the topic that I was going to talk about yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to. And we're going to talk about it today. So really, this is really simple. I want to keep it quick for you guys. I just want you guys to get this one across. And I got this question from Bearish, and Bearish asked, you guys know Bearish Haney has been on the show a ton of times. Before I say anything, I want to acknowledge you beautiful people, Rachel Johnson, Sanat. You guys were here yesterday. Thank you guys for tuning in yesterday. And we're going to redo this today. And hopefully I could, go a little bit deeper and bring you guys a little bit more value. So basically, I want to talk about why, Bears asked me, he said, why do people say they're going to do one thing, but then they don't do it, or they do the exact opposite, right? What happens in that situation? And I really thought about it because this is a big question in my life. I mean, the past 2 years, I've really made a lot of transformations in my life. It's crazy to think that it's only been 2 years and I've grown so much. I've changed so much in my life. Just not based on, what other people want or whatever, but based on what I want out of my life. And it was super cool. I just kept saying, I want to be healthier. I want to get up earlier. I want to work harder. I want to, play more music. I want to create more. I want to connect with more people. I want to, have more energy. I want to have more money. I want to be happier. I want to have, more control over my emotions. I want to have more discipline, right? So when I started making all these wants, or started talking about all these wants and started sharing it with people like my friends and family and telling them like, yo, this is what I want to do. Could you hold me accountable to it? Like, this is what I want to do. I'll give you an example of maybe an area that I've been able to succeed in, and it gets me really excited. So 2 years ago, I told myself, look, I got to start exercising. Like, I want to start exercising. I was lucky enough to have a friend. Her name is Julie Ross. You guys know Julie. She's been on the show, and she offered me some time at her gym. She said, come by to the gym. I'll show you what we do. I'll take you through a couple classes, a couple personal training sessions, and you can kind of see, what it's like working out. And so I, first time ever getting into it, I've always wanted to do it. I've always talked about it. Oh yeah, I'm going to work out. I'm going to be, muscular. I'm going to, but I never actually did it. And so finally I was getting myself to do it, and it was awesome. But after a while, it's easy at first when you're excited about it. But once the excitement wears off and you're kind of just like, oh no, this is mundane. This is like exercise, right? You kind of remember why you hated exercise in the first place. At least this is my experience. And so I thought about it, what is it about exercise? I say I want to do it, but I keep on, building the habit, building the good habit, and then falling off the wagon. And, I'll work out every week for like a month, and then I won't work out for a month, right? Or I'll work out 3 times a week for a couple weeks, and then I won't work out for an entire week after that, right? And so I kept having to ask myself, like, where's this inconsistency coming from? How come I can't figure this out? And eventually, I've been able to the point where I'm at now, where I work out at least 3 times a week. I've made it consistent. Why? Because I learned the techniques. I use the techniques that you're going to learn in this episode. So I'm excited about that. And I want to talk to you also about another area of my life. I like to use stories in my own life, talk about my own experience, because that's just what I know more than anything else. I can't tell you what you want out of life. I can't tell you, what your good habits and what your bad habits are. I could only give you my experience, and hopefully by sharing myself, opening up about myself, being vulnerable, you guys could, take away something. You guys could relate in a way or another. So basically, I have been telling myself for the past 2 years, as I've been making these transformations, destroying my bad habits, creating good habits, I kept telling myself, I want to wake up early. And when I wake up early, I want to be able to meditate. I want to be able to exercise. Like, can you relate to this at all? Like, let me know in the comments if you could relate to this at all. Like, you want to do better. You want to wake up early. You want to exercise. You want to meditate. You want to know what it feels like to have that energy. You want to know what it feels like to be super productive and to work and get to work first thing in the morning and just like make things happen for yourself, right? You want it, but you talk about it, right? You tell people about it. You tell yourself you want it. You think about it, but then you never actually take action to actually do it. Or you start for a little while and you give up, right? I'll tell you, like, I'm a huge victim of this. And I'll tell you, so over the past 2 years, I've been trying to wake up early, wake up at the same time every day, exercise, meditate, follow this awesome morning ritual. And it's been tough for me. And I don't know why I keep falling off the wagon or keep saying I want to do this, saying I want to do it. I write it in my journal, I think about it. But then when I wake up in the morning, I just doesn't happen. I turn on the snooze button, or I go back to bed, or I just get covered under the blankets, right? I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but it's a big problem in my life. It's huge. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big problem, right? I don't have to own up to anybody. I don't have to be responsible to anybody. I don't have a boss. I'm self-employed. I can sleep in all I want, right? But I don't want to, but I still do it. So what is that? What's happening there? And so I thought about it. And the first two things, there's two things that jumped out to me when Bears asked me this question. Why do people say one thing and they do another? And real quick, I want to keep this episode short, but I really want you guys to get this. The first thing that came to mind was fear. Like, instantly, it's fear, right? You say you're going to do something, but then you don't do it. And usually a big thing of what holds us back is fear. Or maybe we associate pain, right? Fear of pain, fear of loss, fear of failure. Sometimes it's even fear of success, right? And you're probably thinking, like, how could I be afraid of success, man? Success is awesome. But for some people, they associate success to loneliness. It's lonely at the top, right? If I succeed, people won't like it, people won't appreciate it, or people will feel less than me, right? Maybe if I succeed, I won't be able to keep it up. I'll have to really hold up this high standard, and I won't be able to do it, and I'll fall short. And I don't want to, reach this level and then lose it, right? Fear of success, right? Maybe it's the fear of failure, right? What if I fail and I can't get back up? What if I fail and people see me fail and their perception of me is bad now? Or what if I fail and all these things happen and the world comes crashing down, right? All these different fears, that's a big thing of what holds us back. So I know in my personal experience, I'll share with you, I tell myself I want to wake up at 10 a.m. every single morning. And for you guys, 10 a.m., you're probably like, 10 a.m., bro, like, that's so easy. How come you can't wake up at 10 a.m.? But I'm a night owl, so I'm up until like at least 4 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m. And I also play music. I'm a musician, if you can't tell by like, so I'm a musician, and I have gigs all the time, and they're always like till 2 a.m, 3 a.m. And so it works for me. I got to wake up at 10 a.m. every day. But what happens in the morning is, I get up, I maybe turn off my alarm, and I go use the washroom, and I go right back to bed. Now, what kind of fear might I have by doing that kind of thing? And this is on the fly right here, guys. I'm trying to dig deep right now into myself, and I'm doing it live on the show. Why not, right? Because I need to get this out of me. I need to understand this, and hopefully you guys can relate, and it could help you as well. So one of the fears, maybe a fear for me, is a fear of success. Maybe. I'm not sure. It might be unconscious. What I'm thinking is, like, why would I fear waking up in the morning early? Maybe it's fear of success. What if I wake up early and I do really well, and I keep growing, but then I hit a plateau and it just peaks, and then it gets boring, and then it doesn't work, and it's just not worth all the time and effort I put in, right? Or what if I fail? Maybe it's a fear of failure. What if I wake up, right, and try, but then I fail and just get humiliated? So why don't I just, stay in bed for a little bit longer, because, then I won't have to deal with life, right? Maybe that's something. Maybe it's, fear of rejection. What if I get up and I go out there into the world, and I go and I try and I push myself and I put myself out there, and people don't like it, people reject me, right? That could be a fear, right? And so this you could understand how this fear would hold you back from taking action, right? You could say you want to do this thing, but you have this unconscious fear holding you back, right? And this is only one of the two things I think holds you back, right? I wouldn't dig too deep into this fear, because fear is like they say, false evidence appearing real. Fear is like, it's not gonna kill you, right? Well, it can kill you, but at the end of the day, you could use this fear productively, right? And so I think if you're fearful of doing what it is you said you want to do, or what you told yourself, or what you told others that you want to do, then take a look at that thing and ask yourself, like, really, what is it about this that I'm scared of? Like, is it a fear of failure? Is it a fear of success? And just get clear on what it is, the fear, and then face it anyways, right? You got to take action anyways. There's a great, I talked about this in the show a little bit before. There's this woman named Mel Robbins who just came up with a book called The 5 Second Rule, and she's going around teaching people how you could literally like get rid of fear, get motivated, whatever you got to do in 5 seconds. And it's as simple as just counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you go and you take action. So what this does is it kind of resets your mind, and it puts you in a state of like, okay, here I go, countdown, right? And so don't overthink it. If you're fearful, right, just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then get up and go and do something. That's a quick little trick you could use. But overall, fear is it'll hold you back. So whatever you can do to clarify the fear. I'm not saying, hide your fear. I'm not saying, attack your fear or destroy your fear. I'm saying take a look at what you're afraid of. Try to understand it real quick. See if it's got some sort of message for you. See if it's trying to point you in a specific direction that might be better for you, right? Fear is a message. Fear's message is you got to be prepared for something. Something's coming, right? Maybe there's something unnatural or something surprise or unexpected that you need to be ready for, right? And so boom, like you're afraid, and it's good. It's good to have that. So listen to the fear and then take action regardless, right? You got to take action on your fear. You can't just think about it, soak in it, and because I know how that is. It just sucks. And the second thing that I really thought of here is Rachel Johnson says she's getting great information from this. I'm really appreciative. I'm glad you're appreciating this, Rachel Johnson. The second thing I really want to talk about is preparation or prioritization. So what I'm saying is a lot of people, they say they want to do something. They say they want to wake up earlier. They say they want to exercise, right? But they never prioritize it and prepare for it, right? And what I mean by prioritize, I mean they don't make it so important that they have to do it. Right? That like for me, if it's waking up in the morning, right? Okay, I got to wake up early, sure. But what's more important to me? Maybe a couple more hours of sleep is more important to me, right? Maybe I'll just take an extra 50 minutes. Maybe it's more important that I get rest, right? So I'm prioritizing rest and sleep over getting up early and exercising and doing all those meditating and following a morning ritual, right? That's what happens there, right? I'm prioritizing something else over that. Now, how do we go about reorganizing our priorities? Great way to reorganize our priorities is to think about, okay, I want to wake up early and exercise, but what's getting in my way is I'm prioritizing sleep more, right? I need an extra hours of sleep, or I need some extra rest, so I'm going to go for that instead. So think of it this way. You want to make the waking up early and exercising, you want to make that way more important. So you got to get a bunch of whys behind that, right? Good reasons and bad reasons, right? Reasons that will push you to do it. So I always think of pain and pleasure, right? Think of reasons that will bring you pleasure and reasons that will bring you pain, right? So maybe a pain is like, dude, if I do not wake up at 10 a.m. and exercise, then, I'm going to lose all sense of discipline. I'm going to lose all sense of confidence, of self. I'm going to lose my identity. I'm going to lose who I am, right? Maybe a pleasure point is, hey, if I wake up at 10 a.m. and exercise, then I get to know, I get to feel like I'm doing something right. I get to feel like I'm building momentum. I get to feel like I'm making progress. I get to feel like I'm doing something. And that, even just that feeling is good enough. Or maybe I'll reward myself with a healthy breakfast, or I'll reward myself with something, to reinforce the good behavior, to reinforce the good things, right? So, just reading your comments here, guys. If you guys have any questions or anything regarding this topic of saying you're going to do one thing and doing something else, let me know. But anyways, I was talking about prioritization. So you got to make it super important. And the next thing you got to do is you got to prepare. If you want to use the example of waking up early, right? But you don't prepare yourself the night before, then it's going to be way tougher for you to do it. You got to prepare your mind. You got to make sure that it's the first thing on your mind, right? It's the first thing. It's not like, okay, I'm thinking about video games right now. Okay, I'm thinking about TV, or I'm thinking about food. It's like, dude, I'm thinking about that. I have to be up at this time in the morning. I'm ready for it. I'm excited about it. And you get into that state, you get into that level. And so that's what matters when it comes to preparation. Like for me, if it's waking up early, then I got to make sure, the night before I got my exercise clothes ready, right? I did all the dishes. I did all my cleaning. Everything's done. I don't have to think about anything. I just have to wake up, put my clothes on, walk out the door, run, exercise, go, get started, right? And you make it simple, and then you set up a reward, right? And if I could give you a third reason why people don't do what they say they're going to do, is they're just not clear. Like they just don't know exactly what it is they want to do, right? They say, I kind of want to do this. I kind of think I want to do this. I kind of want to exercise. I kind of want to get healthy. I kind of want to kind of, but they don't really like know. They don't have a deep conviction. Like they're not on a mission. Like there's a difference between, okay, I got a goal and I'm on a freaking mission. Like there's a difference between, oh, I want this thing and I'm on a mission to attain this purpose in my life or whatever it is, right? There's a clear difference in that. And so when you could think of your waking up early or your exercise, your meditation, your good habits, your work, whatever it is as a mission rather than just a little petty goal, then it's completely different, right? And so that's the way I'm going to start thinking about things, waking up early. I'm on a mission to get up early. Why? Because of this, and this. And if I don't do it, then this, and this will happen. So that's why I'm committed to making it happen. And I prioritize it. I'm prepared. I'm clear on any kind of fears that I might have, and I'm ready to face them anyways. I understand the whole situation. So those are just a couple thoughts. If you guys have anything to add to this, I'd really love to know your opinions on why people might say they're going to do one thing and they do something else, and how we could break through that, how we could counteract this instinct of ours or this way of thinking, this way of being, because it's obviously not really getting us anywhere. It's not getting us to where we really deserve to be, where we really want to be. So I got to thank you guys for tuning in. I always appreciate this. I love doing this. I'm sorry about yesterday. I'm sorry we couldn't get this episode out yesterday, but I'm glad, all the technical difficulties are sorted out. We're back at it. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of The Implicit Show. If you guys want to support what we're doing, go to patreon.com/implicit. And there's a ton of great rewards for you guys just as a gift for your support, man. Love you guys. Peace.